Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Fulani. We're continuing where we left off yesterday, looking at the something of, if you want, the tsunami that hit the judiciary, talking about the arrest of some judges. Well, by now, yesterday you heard they were into court. Indeed, some of them have been released, all in accordance with the law. My guest this morning is Fred Agbaje, our constitutional lawyer. Good morning to you, my friend. It's been quite a while. Great to have you.
Thank you so much,
Indeed.
Yori. I have been a sabbatical.
Okay, that's good now. But you, even in sabbatical, you must...
You see how to dig me out.
Yeah, I did. I tried what I could because I wanted to hear your views on this. As you know, not all lawyers are on the same side on this question. Some, as you know, are saying that the law is the law, and whatever the situation, you got to comply with the law. And then there are others who are saying that the laws usually are based on something and have a certain intendment, borrowing one of the words that you lawyers use, exactly. Quaint words that you lawyers use. Where exactly do you fall in this conversation?
Well, I should normally, or expectedly, I should be on the side of the rule of law.
Yes.
The rule of law should guide our actions, utterances, and everything we do. So I'm going to start from the premise of the rule of law. Who has acted in accordance with the rule of law, and who hasn't acted in accordance with the precept of the rule of law? And if you ask me, despite the hula baloo against what the DSS have done, I'm particularly intrigued when I heard some of my colleagues saying that the DSS have no power to do what they did, or that the DSS have gone beyond their bounds, and that Nigerian judges, being people of high integrity, which is and that they remain untouchable. Have we all the argument options and the rest of them? What I decided to do is, first and foremost, who caused the whole genesis, the whole hula baloo now, is the action of the Directorate of State Security Service. Directorate of State Security Service is a breakaway, or is an offshoot of the State Security Service. We normally call them SSS. But when you look at the law setting up, whether the SSS, the DSS, Section 3 of that enabling law, which set up that organ, they are entrusted in dealing with any act or misfortune that will affect the internal security of this country. In other words, any act that would threaten internal security of this country. Then the question we should logically ask ourselves is, does corruption fall into it? If you say corruption does not fall into an act that can threaten the internal security, what else could be more threatful, more damning than that security, than corruption? I'm not going to go into the analysis of how many people have died as a result of corruption. How many people have lost their opportunities because corruption has taken place, or they have no money to get their way through. It happens in this country. So as far as I'm concerned, any means legitimate that could help in bringing down shamefully that veil of corruption, I support it.
Your learned colleague, Barrister Falano, he put out a statement saying that lawyers should chill, MBA should go and chill. Blame yourselves. Don't blame DSS. Can you identify with that position?
Well, that statement is with a proviso, not with a comma. Yes, you cannot tell your God's body, or you cannot tell your umbrella body not to react. But why our august body, the NBA central body, they are reacting to what has happened. We must be careful ourselves, not to be carried away by what they are saying. But we know some people who are crying bereaved more than those who are actually bereaved, or shedding tears, shedding crocodile tears. That does not mean even some of those people are saying it actually believe in the rule of law.
Some of them who are protesting an infringement on the rule of law, not all of them actually hold that very rule of law sacrosanct.
I'm telling you, I had to be very honest with you.
So
but everybody must come out to say, well, we condemn it, this and that. On what ground? What has happened? Like some people who have complained to me say, what they did to those judges, they shouldn't have done it. The DSS don't have the power to do it. But when I enlighten such people as to the powers of the DSS, they simmer. But what I'm saying in effect is this. Falana is quite right. There are those who are shouting to rule of law. They are supposed to look inward. This is not the first time Falana is saying it. We also know.
Not only that, he's saying that the NBA, his own body, he has accused the NBA of actually shielding corrupt lawyers. He says the NBA that has information on all corrupt lawyers and judges has persistently shielded them, which, coming from a man of his stature in the law, I guess it does say something. And going back to the question that you put, that look, do we want to battle corruption or not?
Exactly.
Maybe that's the big question we should ask ourselves, because people are concerning themselves with niceties, if you want. Yes, yeah, be that as it is. But the question goes to, not very many people, for instance, are saying, why would 500 million naira, for example, be found in the residence of a judge? That is a question. It's like that one. I think you lawyers call that a moot point or something like that. Say, leave that one to one side.
This is even central.
Well, there you go. There you go. And not too many lawyers are asking that particular question. They are concentrating on the fact that, well, infringement of law, the what is it? The search warrant was improper, and etc. etc.
Those are just side issues. Whether a search warrant is valid or not valid, I don't expect that a security agent will go before a serving justice's house without arming himself or herself with a warrant. What we should be looking at is this, like the question you pose. A serving judge was found with so amount of money in his house. Was he trading with it? Is he not a trader? He's no longer judging. It's no longer arbitrating between parties. It's not arbitrating on money. So you have abandoned your traditional constitutional responsibility.
Even though the judge still has his day in court, where he will explain, because it remains for the court to hear his explanation for having $500 million, naira in my house. The court will then pronounce on it.
Of course, and that's the antithesis of the Constitution. The man is still presumed innocent, in spite of all the amount of money, local, foreign, pound, dollar, safer, and then all sorts of money you are found with. We still presume him or her innocent. I remember at a time at a seminar where I propounded the idea that, look, this idea of arresting somebody with who has committed crime, and the evidence of the crime has been seen. You amend Section 36, put the onus of proof on that man. The man who have been allegedly found with so and so. The onus should be put on him. Let him prove. If a man earns so amount of money,
yes, but salary, sorry. That's not the way what we have right now. The onus of proof is not on the judge to prove that it was
that is the Constitution.
The onus is on the prosecution.
Yeah, the onus is on the state to prove. So my point is that
so the accused can just chill and what you do the work.
Of course, you reverse it the other way and make cases that borders on fraud, corruption, make it an offense of strict liability. It is it.
You know, this is, I remember that this particular point is a point that Ajugunmo Gobias, SAN, floated a while ago at one of your bodies, I think it was the law conference, that, look, it might just be helpful if we somehow put it back on. Look, the onus of proof is now on the accused to prove that he is in order.
Yeah, it's in order that, look, that the 500 million naira that were found in my house.
I can explain it.
I can explain it. Maybe I became a trader overnight. Maybe I was trading. You don't know.
And then the court will evaluate his explanation.
Then the state will not give evidence, of course, give their own evidence to contradict that. This man sat throughout in the court yesterday. He didn't rise until about 5 p.m. yesterday. The same thing day for yesterday. At what time does he have time? Midnight to go trading. So these are the fundamentalities of this issue of fair hearing. The issue of fair hearing, I know people like us, we still go and fight it and say, look, no, all over the world, the onus is always on the state to prove. But it's not always. In this country today, tax-related offenses, they are offenses of strict liability. It is you who have to prove that we have complied with law, and this is the position. To the conviction of the judge, if the judge is not satisfied, he will tell you that you have not discharged your onus of proof, and that the evidence of the state is more credible.
Fred, a delicate area in this conversation. I say delicate area because lawyers are lawyers. They're professionals, and they're also in business.
Of course.
And on that area, that very statement that lawyers are professionals and they're also in business and they will have clients. You know, if it were left to the society...
Does a judge have a client?
Sorry?
Does a judge have a client?
Oh, Lordy Lord. You see, judges don't have clients, but you went there. And this is part of the narrative that is coming out of this particular instance. Now, the point I was going to make is that lawyers have clients, and I think in the minds of the public, they're angry, let me use the word quote unquote, angry at some lawyers who take on what they see as hopeless cases in terms of morality.
Yes.
That why would you, in the mind of the public, the ordinary public, maybe not the professional public, in the mind of the public, lawyers who respect themselves should not even touch certain people shopping for lawyers with a 10-foot pole. But if the man has 200 million naira, for example, I just took that figure out of the top of my head, to spend, I guess there will be lawyers queuing up. So we often hear that the temple of justice, lawyers serve in the temple of justice as does everybody else in the whole legal system. That particular aspect, does it sometimes concern you as well?
It does. It's not every case. Maybe to some other lawyers, every case must be accepted. For instance, there's no amount of money paid to me that will make me to go and take a case of armed robbery.
Okay.
That's
so judges have their leanings. Lawyers have their different leanings.
Of course. I have some colleagues who would never take anything that has to do with divorce cases.
Oh, okay.
They will say, by my religious belief, my church belief. But
that's not what I'm saying, Fred, because we know that there are divorce lawyers, there are family lawyers, there are entertainment lawyers. We know that you guys specialize. Yes. But taking on taking a case of those who have, for instance, many people, maybe they're wrong, many people would imagine that, look, a guy has 500 million naira allegedly in his bedroom.
Yes.
Why would any lawyer go and defend that? Why would any lawyer? Why wouldn't the guy end up having to defend himself because he couldn't find any takers? No lawyer would take me.
I get your point. Rather, instead of lawyer distancing themselves, you say lawyer queuing, even applying to defend such a person. XYZ will defend you better. We will defend you better. I quite agree.
And that's why some people now make the perhaps wild statement that lawyers themselves sometimes put themselves in the position of being seen as supporting the status quo and corruption.
It might not necessarily be, Yori. Some lawyers could be prevailed upon. So we want you to take up such a case, such a case. But it's left for the lawyer, acting on his own conscience, good conscience, to say, well, yes, I would have loved to help. There are 1,001 ways you can just ease yourself out of such a case.
Okay.
1,001 ways. People have come to meet me to take up the so case. Thank you very much. But the business of our diary in this office today, for now,
Okay.
is heavy.
Which is not the same as telling him that get the
Get
out of my office.
The money that will be caught in your bedroom, what are you telling me?
Well, what are you telling me?
So
I don't
how
want
you go to watch yourself clean?
But lawyers, that's not the professional way.
In fact, no, not all lawyers anyway. But in the situation where you begin to see lawyer queuing to defend such a person, that the judge himself is only be wary that look, with all that is happening, with all the allegations, our colleagues in the practice in the bar, they are still queuing to take up the defense. In fact, you will get some courts in such instances. You will see lawyers almost trying to exchange blows. So I'm the first one to be contacted. He is the first one to be contacted. But I think we're in a proper place where there's decorum, you discover that such a person will actually not find it easy to get a lawyer. Or even if he's going to get a lawyer, he's not going to get a lawyer of his choice. So in a situation like that, you can go to legal aid and say, well, you don't want to go to legal aid anyway.
Okay.
Because the man is overfed. He has so much of money. So he will go to legal aid. He will say, no, I will wait for X, Y, Z. But like I told you, if you're a principal person, you know how to avoid it. But what the point Falana is saying is that senior lawyers who are supposed to be the road partner, they are supposed to be the partner for justice. They are the one who will queue behind such people with questionable money, and particularly when the exhibit, quote unquote, the money exhibit has been found. They will want to take up such a case, and then maybe perhaps at the end of the day they get their own 10% commission as a reward for the day.
I guess all of this has to be put in perspective and context. Not all lawyers are like that.
No.
In fact, it's minuscule.
I've given you an example of,
but
I will avoid
one apple, they say, can spoil the whole, the heap. That kind of a thing.
That is why that is why the condemnation by the NPA is not sweet in their mouth. Otherwise, Falana, my very good friend, would not have reacted the way he reacted.
But Falana pointed out that it is, as we sit down talking here, two senior advocates of Nigeria are actually, before the courts on a charge of bribing, attempting to bribe a judge. Whether bribing or attempting to bribe, the two senior advocates, no less, are actually before a judge, a court. These are not things that these are ominous times. There are certain things you don't expect of a pastor. There are certain things you don't expect of a lawyer. Indeed, there are certain things you don't expect of a doctor, and so on and so forth. But we have the situation we have. Maybe that's what prompted Garba Shehu to put out the statement that it is corruption under attack, not the judiciary.
Exactly.
Would you sort of click like on that statement?
But the war against corruption now, if he says so, that is personal opinion. But he has extended the war on corruption to the judiciary.
No, is the judiciary not part of the society?
It's part of the society, but don't forget that when he now isolated the judiciary, I say, what we are doing is corruption we are fighting.
No, there was an uproar.
Those, of course, at the end of the day, human beings must suffer from some of the idiosyncrasies that has characterized DSS activities.
There was an uproar, and understandably so. The judiciary is held in extremely high esteem. In fact, it doesn't need me to say. It doesn't need me to say that if you don't have an incorruptible judiciary, then we might as well pack up and go as a nation.
There's no way you don't have some members of the judiciary that are corrupt. There's no way in the world.
So they have to be weeded out. People pointed out that in America you have judges being arrested,
exactly,
charged to court,
exactly,
and
be made as an example, as a deterrent to others.
But lawyers say that every single accused is entitled to a defense, and I suppose it is under that particular canopy that that which might
even right now, Yori, even right now, the judges that have been arrested and some found with money, there are lawyers already queuing. That, look at how much is on the table, and you say I should not go and defend. There are lawyers who are already waiting to defend.
Which
because
because
every accused person
going by what I just said, that every accused person is entitled
yes, sir.
to defense, but it just lets people down. But lawyers have
You
bills to
blame lawyers. You
lawyers
blame
have
us.
bills to pay.
Exactly.
Lawyers have bills to pay, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't
We are members
matter.
of the society. We are not living outside this society. We are living.
But somebody pointed out that one of the reasons, his own explanations, one of the reasons we refer to judges as my lord is that they are, quote unquote, God's assistant. They are God's assistant on earth.
Yes, they are beyond reproach.
And so you expect them to be beyond reproach. But when we hear that a judge was actually inviting someone to meet him in Ghana so that we can,
It's not all judges.
Not all, no, of course not. But the fact that
you can mention judges that have retired today, that look, that when you see the quintessential judgeship in them, you will know them. You will know them. But we are at the same time, we are here. We have seen those who are still in the bench, and they are living so ostentatious lifestyle.
Which is one of the things that the DSS said, that
Yes.
these people had been under, some of these people had been under observation with what we've been watching their lifestyle.
Exactly.
It didn't seem to square up with what we knew were available sources of income.
Exactly.
And so they moved, and there's a whole howl of protest.
That's true.
So when we
particularly when such judges come from our own constituency, which is practice, we know ourselves when we're in practice here. So now that we are a judge, all of a sudden we now see the type of lifestyle we have embarked on. So we'll definitely begin to ask questions. We have seen judges that have retired. They still maintain that dignity, respect. Because he has never approached me for money. I have never run an errand boy for him to go and begin to collect bribe here and there and pass to him. These are judges in the true sense of it.
You know, it's not just judges, Fred, that could be a problem. It's bad enough as it is. Some of the details of this particular sting operation, because
Yes.
I think that's what it was over the weekend. The part of the narrative is that when the DSS and their whole entourage, whatever, wanted to move in to execute their operation, there were other people in uniform bent on preventing them. In fact, it got so, the narrative goes, it got so bad that Governor Wike had to be threatened with being shot. He, meanwhile, said, as the chief security officer of this area, I'm out to protect the life of the judge. We were to hear him subsequently say that they might have killed that judge, and I wanted to make sure that they didn't kill him.
That excuse is not that here and there. We can understand that.
Yeah, but how about the police? Before you go to
I was going to say that.
The police against the police.
We can understand the position of Wike that, of course, is definitely going to stand in contravention of the standing order from Aso Rock. You know, in the first instance, they're not from the same political party. So these are people, these are agents acting, security agent acting on behalf of Abuja.
But the police doesn't have a political party.
Wait, don't say that. Because he's wearing a Nigerian police uniform. That is exonerating. They could be, facially, they could represent, that uniform they wear, represent the symbol of Nigeria, the entire Nigeria. But their individual disposition does not show that. They are the typical policeman, are they not members of the Nigerian society? Are you telling me that most of the state commissioner of police, they have been acting in contravention of the state governor? It's a lie. So it is the governor that is in power in the state that will butter their bread. We're talking about policemen. So when the incident of the commissioner of police now align and claim that, look, I'm only here to maintain peace, then who invited you? Asito Ntokere. So what did you come to do?
Okay. I understand there's a call. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Yori. First of all, I'll go straight to the point with regard to your discussion for today. I am totally in support of the fight against corruption, but my problem with the corruption fight in Nigeria is the way and manner the security operatives go about it. If we have a country where you cannot differentiate an attack by armed robbers and hired assassins from an invasion of a security operative, then we have a problem in this country. What if the victims have health challenges and they ended up developing heart attacks and died in the process. Because the procedure the DSS went about that invasion looked like the same procedure that armed bandits, hired assassins, will go invading people's houses. And with all due respect, I think it is totally wrong and uncalled for. I have been listening to your guest making his point, but I have wanted to say to you, Mr. Fred, if, for instance, this same issue happens to you, I am sure you'll be the first person crying rule of law. Corruption fight is good, but the procedure must be followed. The rule of law must be followed. This is not a banana republic. Good morning, Mr. Yori, the man with the golden voice.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Daniel, for calling.
Nobody has ever supported that you should break the law in an attempt to enforce the law. We cannot be talking of the rule of law and at the same time slapping the rule of law in the face. I quite agree with you. I don't support it. If you want to enforce the law, you must enforce it.
Yes.
I'm not holding brief for the DSS, but I know they went into these premises with a search warrant duly signed. Armed robber does not come with a search warrant to your house. You don't even have time for that. There was a search warrant, and once a search warrant is issued and signed, you can execute it any time of the day. But what I would have expected of the DSS, they have their lawyer. I don't need to jump into the house of my opponent or the house I want to go and search, particularly the house belonging to a judge. I'm not saying the law is a respecter of personality. We are all equal before the law. I would have done a saner thing, a wiser thing. First and foremost, you invite them.
Well, okay. I'm going to try and remember that point, that they should have been invited. I'm going to come back to that because there's someone else on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, my name is Charles Idel.
Okay.
Yeah,
great to have you.
First of all, let me I greet your guest as well, Fred Abaje. Now, I want him to answer a question for me. It borders on political nomenclature of the office of the state executive. I hear governors saying that they are chief security officers. But what role does the constitution give to the state governor? Is it the chief executive officer or the chief security officer? Because I want to know if what Wike did, actually the constitution gives him the role as the chief security officer as against the chief executive officer, then why are we having problems? So I want you to look at it, vis-a-vis the role that the constitution gives to them. Good morning.
Okay.
Thank you very much. The Nigerian constitution, when you look at it, the president is the commander-in-chief and the chief security officer for the entire federation. But when it got to the state, it named the governor simply as chief executive officer for the state. It was silent as whether the governor is the chief security officer, but the chief executive officer, not the chief security officer. The constitution went on to now mention the commissioner of police. And that even if the governor in the state gives order, as the chief executive of the state, if he gives order to the commissioner of police in the state, the commissioner of police, if it's not clear for him to answer or to do the business of the state governor, he will still have to go to Abuja to consult with the Inspector General of Police. In a state and in a federation, in a country where you are running a federation of government, federal system of government, in which the state as component part of the state, are independent of one another. But with the police commissioner in the state, he might even refuse to obey the state governor.
That can actually happen.
It can happen. It can always happen.
Okay.
When you look at what played out in Port Harcourt, in River State,
yes,
the governor was on the ground, the commissioner of police was on the ground. The commissioner of police was looking at the governor. The governor was the one talking and giving us sort of excuses.
So, and this goes back to what you just explained about the Constitution. Okay, and
that is the ambiguity in your Nigerian Constitution.
Okay, we've got to take a quick break now. Don't go anywhere, please. We'll continue taking your calls. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the sting operation of the DSS over the weekend. A number of judges were picked up. They've had their day in court, at least the beginning of their days in court, being released on bail, but the issue still won't go away. Not all lawyers, indeed, not all citizens agreed on applauding, but if I were to guess, very unscientific, but if I were to guess, a lot of people feel that it was about time the brakes were put on. But there still are lawyers who are saying that don't forget the little matter of rules and procedures. There are procedures. We're a civilized society here. In fact, Fred just said that they should have been invited, probably. And I want to use that. I want to link from that idea about they should have been invited to the rule of law that you also spoke about, that nobody, we can't say we agree with the rule of law and then turn around and slap the rule of law. Now, the rule of law was not intended for accused persons or criminals to now go and study the law up and know that, wait, rule of law is not going to let them make too much traction. So because they have to comply with the rule of law, you go this way, you go that way, let's see how they can go. I mean, you understand what I'm saying what do you lawyers say? An unlearned, you understand my unlearned perspective. The rule of law, which every lawyer, chants, rightly, can sometimes be used in a way it was not intended. Rule of law, for example, you just said that they might have been invited. People have said that, how do you invite a person under observation and suspicion that, sir, I'm going to be, checking out your house in, probably I'm just using this to fulfill all decorum and respect, but let it be known, sir, that I will be coming to visit your house and search it in another 1 hour or so.
You wouldn't say because you suspected that a man has committed murder, you go to his house with a cutlass and go and chop off his head.
No, you won't do that.
That is it.
You won't do that.
You only take the laws into your hand.
And this analogy does not square up with what the example. The example doesn't square up with this analogy.
What I'm saying, you see, have to.
The guys had to make sure that they got all that was necessary. Don't forget that they tell us that they'd been, surveillance. They'd been watching these people, and they'd found out there was probable cause.
8 months.
Yes, there was probable cause. And now you can't come to the judge and say, I just think. You've got to present evidence. Now, the only way they could get evidence, unless you are saying to me that...
You can go to the bank, you can find out. We are talking about state security.
Okay.
There are so many ways you can detect somebody's account.
Okay.
You know this number they gave us,
BVN.
BVN, it had done so many things. It has revealed so many things. You don't even need to go to somebody's, I'm telling you.
But raw cash, BVN no dey raw cash. And this is part of the problem. Laundering.
Money laundering, that's true.
Let me take Sheyi, who has been waiting from Ikorodu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Sir, I just want to know the difference between alleged corrupt judges and the cocaine pusher or any other alleged criminal. Are you saying that the DSS should inform any investigated person and with evidence, after being investigated and they have the proof that busting into the house, they will have that those evidences with them? If you invite these alleged judges, are you saying they will come with that money found on them? Or you have to inform? What is the difference between me and a judge?
Well,
after a judge has investigated me and they found that coming to me at any time has been approved by the Nigerian Constitution, they could get evidence. This is not mere something. Corruption should not have respect. I mean, the rule of law should not have respect of anybody. We should all stand and fight against this corruption. Yes, they are on bail. Let them go and prove themselves. Even ordinarily, what will a judge be doing if it is legally 500 million, even 100,000 naira? What are we talking about?
Well, okay. Thank you very much. I think I get I understand where you're coming from, your perspective, but that last comment about even 100 naira, many of us have much more than that at home. So, but I understand the point that you are making. 100 to 300,000 naira because you need it in the house. is not the same as the figure that we've heard about 93 million naira between 3 judges, and that's apart from $500,000 US, and that's apart from, I think, 25,000 pounds sterling, and I think there was also some euro. So we just have to we just have to keep these things in perspective. But the question he asked about what's the difference between alleged, I think the point he was trying to make was that nobody is above the law.
That's true.
Not even their lordships. And I think this is where
You can be made to account.
he can be made to account. And people are just saying that the process wasn't respectful enough. Really, that's not. It's no more than that.
That is it. That is it. That is the modern manner they have gone about it does not befit the office of
Exactly.
of a man who is a high court, Supreme Court judge.
Yes.
So that's the way some people are looking at it.
Yes. Godwin Ikeja. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for calling.
Yes, I see. I am really surprised the way we are going about this thing. We are looking at a situation which is a big problem in this country, and we are being too sentimental about resolving the problem. What is this about this sentiment that we are trying to show here and there? What would the judge be doing with that kind of money? What are we talking about in this country, for God's sake? What is it that are we suggesting that the DSS should have written a letter to them that, okay, you come or invitation or whatever, and then that money will still be found? We are talking about evidence. There is an evidence that is saying that, yes, these people are doing what they are not supposed to do. For God's sake, what are we talking about? And where is our interest in this Nigeria, or our interest is in our personal thing? Are we so selfish that we don't want to see reasons why some things should be done? Listen, I am not happy about what is going on.
Okay.
People should tell the truth. We want the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Godwin. You know, people have got so angry in this kind of it's become a national conversation.
Yes.
People have become so angry that they're saying that, you know what, anybody who is on the side of it was not respectful enough and all of that, that quite frankly, that person is in the closet. It's secretly he's hoping that his time will come when he himself will be able to avail himself. That's how angry people have got.
It's even enough deterrent to others for somebody to have gone through that humiliation all through the night. They said you are a judge, and you are found wanting.
Well, he hasn't been found yet. The
No,
court,
no,
if it ends up like that,
Yes. If it ends up like that, then what moral temerity do you now have to sit over others? But like I said earlier, there are more decorous
ways
of doing this.
but Fred,
But it might not yield. Just a minute.
Thank you. It might not yield.
It might not yield the end result.
So what would you therefore recommend?
Then, of course, it might not yield the end result, but you would have been found to have complied with the rule of law. But if they call you, I'm not a security man. You are the one who is investigating as part of evidence to be used in prosecuting.
Yes.
In doing that, you would have done all your relevant homework.
Yes.
And be sure that I have that money in the house, and that money was justifiably gotten, because it's still going to be part of your evidence. That, look, this man has almost about 500 million.
Yeah, but you just said, Fred, but
just a minute.
You just said that it might not yield the best result,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, people should go down that route.
You cannot go down that route and remain there. Why are they calling you a security officer if you know you cannot do your own work unless you break down into my house?
Okay. Abraham, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Mr. Yori, good morning. And thank you for your program. You know, Nigeria is a very, very funny country. Very, very funny country. Because most of the time, when people, when things concern the common man, nobody cares. Who's us is God. But once a big man is caught, then it becomes a controversy. As if, we all have different lives, as if we are not the same, human being. I think one thing the reason why I'm even making this call is that I want to beg this government, because this your medium is a very powerful medium. And look, all this trial, they should make it public when the trial is going to begin. That is the issue. All this, you see abroad, I remember when they were doing the O.J. Simpson case, you know, Clinton was the president when he was caught for whatever. They televised it live. Everybody sees what was going on. That was what they were doing with Saraki case, you know, at the beginning. Suddenly they cut it off. So all kind of games started going on underground. They will come to court today, they will adjourn it for 3 months, 6 months, and then that will be the end. You know, we need to get our heart together in this country. We have been able to identify that our problem in this country is corruption. This man told us when he was contesting that he was going to kill this corruption if he don't want it to kill us. Now he's trying to help us to kill the corruption. Everybody is talking nonsense. I've had all the lawyers talking, you know. These so-called MBA, things that concern their own members, they don't talk anything about it. They kill their member, they did not talk. Shayoshi went and slapped George. Nobody said anything. Beat the judge up, scatter his file and his case. Nobody talked. Now, just one judge or two of them with money in their homes. Now somebody is saying they are declaring emergency. Please, give me a break. Let's solve the problem of this con. Let's give this man our cooperation so that we can resolve our problem. You know?
Okay.
The lawyer, Father Baji, God bless you. Thank you so much.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. The Chief Justice, one headline, one newspaper headline has it, Daily Sun, in fact. Clamp down on the judiciary, that's the sub-head. And then Chief Justice blows hot summons NJC, says it's sad, regrettable, and unfortunate. I should hope so. Yes. I should hope it is sad, regrettable, and unfortunate, because once you have judges that are not above board, allegedly.
They have nothing to fear, therefore.
No, if you have judges that are not above board, then we're all in trouble. There is no society again. Since the last bus stop for seeking justice is to head to the courts. But if courts and judges and chief registrars, by the way, people are being quiet about chief registrars. They're strategic to all of this. If those people are now under the microscope as, look, you guys have, what is it? You guys have defaulted on the trust that we repose in you. Buhari said it some time ago that I mean, he was as delicate as he could be, I imagine, that the potential of the judiciary, Nigerians are yet to see it. And he left it as that. You know, that's another way of saying that the judiciary is not living up to expectation.
That's true. It's good you mentioned the issue of registrar.
I'll come back to the matter of registrar. Let me take David. Good morning, Mr. David.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning to Mr. Baji.
Good morning, sir.
God be with you. I am one of the people that believe that judiciary is the major problem in Nigeria. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, judiciary brought down the Fourth Republic. If we can still remember that there was one judge in Western region then, Olofoyeku. Any case that this democratic this thing brought to him, he would just sentence the people to long imprisonment. Now, judiciary brought down the Second Republic. Look at the case of 12-2-3. That a Supreme Court, the Supreme Court judgment that cannot be cited as precedent. Okay, look at what is going on now. If impunity continues and the judiciary is promoting impunity, my brothers, what do you think will happen? Some people are saying there cannot be coup. Who told you I cannot be coup? Just a young army officer can take over and wipe out everybody. And I'm telling you, the people, the judges you are trying to protect.
We're not talking coups anymore.
But I'm telling you, it can happen. What about? Listen carefully, Mr. Yori. Now, if you are a young officer, you have friends, and they were not given ammunition, they were sent to go and die. And some of them were even maimed. Some of them were injured and treated that they are still in the army. Let us fear God. Judiciary is the major problem of this country, and they have to purge themselves. And if they don't purge themselves, then they should be ready for war. God be with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David. Fred, I interrupted you regrettably when you were going to talk about chief registrars.
Yes, we are complaining about the judges. And as a matter of fact, When you talk about bribe, there must be a giver and a taker. Most of the linkage between those we are describing as corrupt judges today, it's not that they come out in the open to come and collect money from anybody. It is the registrars of the court that are running the errand. So the same searchlight must be put on the registrars of the court. You don't fight the war against corruption from the top. Mm-hmm. You must start from the grassroots.
Oh dear.
Once you cut the taproot, there's nothing for the branches to stand. So it must be extended all around. Lawyers have been charged to court for corruption now, but I'm yet to see the registrars of the court that
are facilitators, for lack of a better word.
That is it.
Oh.
They are supposed to be in the courts themselves fighting for their bail. That is the only way the war against corruption in the judiciary can be meaningful. Right now, you have the lawyer standing trial. The judge is going to court today, perhaps to go and stand their bail. Meanwhile, the middleman who is running the errand, collect to go and give.
People are not seeing him.
The searchlight is not there.
But
I'm sure at the end of the day,
yes,
you will have more than half of the registrars.
Good morning, Mr. Usman from Ikoyi.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning, Oga Agbaje.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. You see, Uncle Yori, the issue of fighting corruption cannot be done with levity. If you look at Singapore, I remember Justice Akambi quoted, he said that when Lee Kuan Yew was fighting corruption in Singapore, that corrupt people prefer to commit suicide than to face Lee Kuan Yew. That's to tell you that you don't fight corruption with levity. What the DSS did was absolutely in tandem with the laid down procedure and the laws of this country. They have not break any procedure, and they did their work diligently and in decent way and according to international standards. No operational procedure was broken. No due process was broken. They follow each and every due process that's supposed to be followed. And if anybody should call and say that they break due process, what we expect from that person is that this is the due process and this is the due process that the DSS break. But don't say that they didn't follow what due process that they did not follow. You see, if you are not an operative, you don't know the operational procedure of operatives. So people should stop castigating the DSS. Go and check what is the power of the DSS. Look at the act that establishes the DSS. And then just oppose it with the Criminal Administrative Act of 2015, where it empowers security operatives to carry out operations. There is nowhere in Nigerian law that says this is the time that operatives should operate. And even in search warrant, before now, we have it in search warrant that from social time to social time, you don't operate search warrant. But with the Criminal Justice Act, that time has been removed. So at any day, anytime you can execute search warrant, and any day and any time operative can launch operations. So people should divorce sentiment and morality alone. Let's deal with this issue of corruption squarely so that tomorrow it will help us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. We said that here.
Which goes back to what you said at the very beginning, Fred.
Exactly.
At the very
Section
beginning.
3 of the SS Act empowers them to handle cases that borders on threat to internet security. And then I ask, it was corruption. Corruption that the SSS are fighting. This is not part of it. Is it not part of threat to internet?
It is, but you confused me a bit when you now said that they should have invited them, that they should have...
it's still part of the rule of law. It's still part of the rule of law. Because don't forget the fact that
But you said also that it might not necessarily achieve the desired result
following
the rule of law.
It's not every time. It's not every time that you have what I've forgotten what to call it now. The warrant of arrest. There are instances you pick warrant of arrest, you go to the offender's house, and you don't find anything.
Indeed.
It happens.
Mr. Kazim from Ogba, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling.
Please, I want to ask your guest. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir.
See, the judge that they're supposed to go and arrest, he know the right thing. Why can't he report to the nearest police station the next day? He was telling me.
Yes.
The governor doesn't allow them to arrest him. He's supposed to go to the next police station the next day to complain that they want to arrest me, and I receive arrest. So I'm here now.
And up to now, the man has not shown up. He has not shown himself to any police station.
He's under the bed now. So what do we do?
Rather is the governor that came to his aid and said it was wrongful.
Yes.
For the SSS to come to his sitting judge resident midnight. And you and I know that under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act now, there have been an amendment to warrant, no longer from 6 in the morning to 7 in the evening. It's all any time of the day, midnight.
Exactly. Because
so that is the thing. We are just being sentimental about it. As far as I'm concerned, the issue in Rivers State, that is no longer issue of corruption, because the governor has introduced a new dimension to it. It has become political. To the extent that even the state commissioner of police has come down to say, well, I'm here to maintain law and order. Who is fighting? Like I said earlier, Ajatu Tokarelu Joe. What is my own in the business of the squirrel?
Well,
so that is
well.
So that what happened. The commissioner of police in Rivers was just being half clever.
Okay, too clever by half. Thank you very, very much, Barrister Fred Agbaje, constitutional lawyer. I like the question you asked, the rhetorical question. Are we in the business of fighting corruption?
Exactly.
That if we just leave everything there.
Every other thing becomes relevant. Are we fighting corruption?
Okay. I'm Yori Folani. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. Bye-bye for now.